In this video, I'm going to cover off completions. So behind me, I've got a disposal well that the drilling rig has just left. You've drilled through your disposal formation, you've got your liner set, and then they always leave a bridge plug just above your liner so that you have isolation of your formation. The drilling rig can move off and you don't have to worry about anything coming out of your well to surface, essentially. So one of the first things you'll do is run your cement bond log. So what a cement bond log is a tool that releases an acoustic signal that's run on wireline. And what that acoustic signal does is it sends it out and then gets it back and records it. If your cement, if your casing doesn't have anything behind it, the casing will essentially ring and you'll get a good signal coming back. If you have something solid behind it like cement, then all of a sudden that signal doesn't ring or doesn't, it attenuates very quickly so that the signal goes out and comes back muted, essentially. So that's how they tell whether you've got good cement behind your casing or not. So run that down from the top of your bridge plug all the way to surface, and that'll give you an idea of how good of quality your cement is from bottom to top. Now, don't worry too much if on your initial pass the cement doesn't look quite as good as what you'd hope for, because you can still run a pressure pass. And what you do with a pressure pass is you increase the pressure on your well bore to 7 MPa so that you've got pressure on here. And what that does is sometimes when you're cementing you'll get just a little tiny microannulus in here. And the microannulus will show up where your cement doesn't look great. It'll ring coming back, but as soon as you put any amount of pressure on it, it'll push up against the cement and show that there's actually good cement there. That microannulus isn't big enough for your water or gas to get through. It's just enough of a gap there. It's just a tiny little gap to make your signal ring. Put a little pressure on it and all of a sudden it closes that and you won't see that anymore. So if on your initial pass it doesn't look great, you can put 7 MPa on it, put some pressure on it, and that'll help with your cement bond log the second time around. Now once you got your cement bond log done, you're going to want to run in, remove your bridge plug, and then run your injection string. Now on the bottom of your injection string is a packer. Your injection string can be coated. It really comes down to what you're injecting and how much corrosion you think you're going to see. Running a coated injection string will make it last longer if you do have corrosion problems. And then your packer at the bottom, essentially what is rubber elements, a part of a tool. When you set the tool, the rubber elements push up against your casing to seal off between your injection string and your casing. And what that does is then you can fill this backside up with inhibited water, corrosion inhibited water, and that protects your injection string and your casing string, plus allows you to pressure test once a year on the backside here so that you know that you still have isolation, that nothing's failed. If you fail that pressure test, you're going to have to pull out your injection string, fix the problem, and run it back in. Once you have this injection string in the hole, the other test the government's going to require you to do is a hydraulic isolation test. And what the major type, I'll go over the major type of hydraulic isolation test to give you an idea, is you run a temperature log. So run a temperature tool on wireline, run it down to bottom, all the way back out of the hole. That'll give you a temperature profile of what the well looks like without you touching it. Now you're going to take water that's 5 degrees warmer, 5 degrees colder than your formation temperature, and start injecting it. And what you're going to do is inject enough of it where you then rerun the temperature log a number of times, and that'll give you a profile between your base pass and after you've injected. And what you're looking for is where all that temperature went. So where you should see a big spike in temperature is in your formation, because that's where all your fluid went when you injected it. If you see a temperature spike up here, what's happening there is your water's coming down into your formation, back up through your cement, and then into that formation there. Obviously you got bad cement here and you're gonna have to go in and remediate. Now this is why cement is so crucial in disposal wells, is you're running 2 different logs to confirm your cement is good. Your cement bond log and then your hydraulic isolation log. If you fail either of those, you're gonna have big problems and you're gonna have to remediate, which is a nightmare. So go back to my drilling section. I talk a lot about cementing and how to avoid some of those problems so that you don't have these issues when you run your logs on completion. So now that you've run your hydraulic isolation log, the one last thing you might want to do is a stimulation right out of the bat, right out the gate. So in the stimulation section, I talk a little bit about this, why you'll have problems right after drilling with injecting your water. Essentially, your drilling mud will cake up on the inside of your formation, and that's to prevent losing all your drilling mud into your formation. Because when you're drilling, the pressure is higher inside than in your formation, and it squeezes that drilling mud in there. The solids in the drilling mud form a little cake so that you don't lose all your drilling mud into your formation, because you pick the highest porosity formation you can find, right? So now all of a sudden you've got all this filter cake on the inside of your walls. Even if you're perforating, same kind of thing, you're going to have some drilling damage right at the entrance to your well. So what do you do about that? Well, you're going to have to stimulate to get past this injection zone, past the drilling damage. So if you do that right off the bat, that'll increase your injection rates and you won't have any problems. If you have any questions on this or any of the other topics, feel free to contact me. And if you'd like some help with your project, send me an email. We'll set up a time for a call and discuss whether me helping you will help your project.